Welcome everyone to Adventures into Reality with myself, Kathy Ma, and Andrew Bartzis. Although today the amazing Andrew Bartzis, the Galactic historian, will not be on the show, he is out on location currently preparing for his event that is coming up. And so for those of you who don't know, Andrew is offering a free video series called Living the Mystical Life Daily. He shows you some tools and gives you knowledge about how to have mystical experiences in your everyday life. Sign up for free at andrewbartzis.com. Just put your name and email when you get to the page and you'll receive the first video right away. Again, just get it at andrewbartzis.com and enter your name and email to receive the Living the Mystical Life Daily series. And in just a moment, we'll be taking calls. Well, I'll be taking calls. But just to remind you again, the Galactic historian is not here today. So we will talk Galactic historian stuff next week when he is back. And also, remember, everyone, you can get a private session with Andrew or myself by contacting Tinoch at galactichistorian.com. That's TENOCH at galactichistorian.com. And we'll be able to get to the bottom of your issues and help you see a better way ahead. So the big thing today, obviously, is a little bit we're all on our mind is the Father's Day that just passed. Caller 213, could you just mute for a moment, please?
Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
How do I do this here?
You mute on the Skype. There is a microphone button. You just click onto that, and it will cross. Thank you.
Oh, I'm on the phone. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, just try to minimize noise where possible. I'll get to you very quickly. So one of the things I wanted to talk about today was Father's Day because it's only just happened for a lot of us yesterday. Well, of course, not those of you in Australia because your Father's Day is in September. But for a lot of the rest of us, Father's Day was yesterday. So it was an awesome day, a great day to honor fathers. For some of us, it was a tough day. My father only passed away a couple of years ago, so it was a very, very tough day. And as you know, my father-in-law has only just recently passed away too. So it was a very strange day. I'm sure I'm not the only one who had these feelings. As much as you want to celebrate Father's Day and the awesomeness of your fathers in your life, whether it's a natural born father or a stepfather or a melded family father or someone you treat as a father or a father-in-law, there is always some time you want to take to honor them and the contribution they've had in your life and the way that they've helped form you to the person you are today. So it's very bittersweet to have memories of the good times, yet at the same time miss them so much. And one of the things that has been highlighted to me a lot is a lot of it is about acknowledgement to yourself. When I looked deep within myself yesterday morning, it was quite painful. I mean, there were tears. I'm not going to lie about that. But even though there were sorrowful tears because I missed that big part of such an influence in my life, at the same time, I was sort of joyous and celebratory sort of feeling because I thought, how lucky have I been to have had these people in my lives, that influence that is there, and to feel that love that has formed me. And if you did not get a chance yesterday to say Happy Father's Day to whoever it is that is in your life that you treat as a father, please pick up the phone today and call them and tell them, because just a few simple words to say, thank you for what you've done for me. I love you. I miss you. Whatever it is will make the humongous amount of difference for that person. And for those of you out there that have had difficult relationships with your fathers or father's figures, maybe there's also a time for you to look inwards and think about acknowledging that has been difficult. Maybe you don't like them at all. I mean, maybe you even hate them. But at the same time, they have helped you form the person that you are today. Good or bad, they are part of your life experience. And just recognizing that, even if you don't think that you need to be grateful for it, it doesn't matter. Just acknowledge that it is so. This person or people have been in your lives and they have helped you become a stronger or more alternative thinking person depending on your experiences. So I'm just going to leave you with that thought because I mean, fathers are awesome. So happy Father's Day for yesterday for all those daddies out there. We all love you. Okay, sorry, caller. 213, what is your name and where are you calling from?
Hi, Kathy. My name is John, and I'm calling from Palm Springs.
Hi, John. How is it that I can help you today?
You know, it's funny. I'm really glad to have you because I am going through some. I guess I'm a divinity path type being, and I've been having a lot of waking up experiences, a lot of great meditations, very deep, soulful experiences. And one of them relates to my mother, not my father.
Okay.
My father has a great influence on her. So I just wonder if you could help me get through this process.
Mm-hmm. So what is it that you're actually feeling right now?
It's a lot of forgiveness, acceptance, love. It's it's taken me a long time to get to this point.
Mm-hmm.
I had a lot of resentment for my parents.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in the process of healing those wounds. But I feel like my mom and I are connected so deeply. And I really wish for her to have the experience that I'm having. Because I feel like she is has been intuitive to the point where she's sort of hidden it all of her life.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm the only person that she can really talk about with that stuff. And she still hasn't even expressing that with me.
Mm. So would it be right to say that your parents have helped you formulate who you are today? There is still some, let's call it bridge work, that needs to be done for you to feel like it's a more fulfilling, loving, positive relationship, as in a give and take in a healthy kind of way. And now that you're embarking on a spiritual adventure or journey, you would like to share this more with your mum, but she's having a little bit of trouble speaking about it or hearing what you're really saying.
Well, I believe it's all about beliefs. She's
Mm-hmm.
very religious upbringing, a lot of Catholic guilt and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's about her really not releasing the past or not releasing this belief that God is outside of herself. That's like the main part of it.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's what I'm picking up, that she has a fear of death that, sort of clouding her judgment.
Okay. Let me go at this from a different angle. When I look at you and your energy and your folks, I'd say certainly there is some, what is the word? Tightness around it, a stiffness. And I would say that your relationship with your mother overall is fairly good, but to me, it looks like you think she doesn't get you. And I don't mean like in the personality doesn't get you, in your head doesn't get you. And when I look at her energy, I'd say, in fact, she does get you. She just doesn't want to acknowledge a lot of what you say because it's a bit far out in left field for her. When I look at her energy, to me, it looks like she's not necessarily in a great place herself, but she's in a questioning phase. Like very often when some people, especially older people, they've lived one way with all these beliefs, and then suddenly to get challenged with new ideas and new concepts, and, it's a bit woo-woo for them as well. It is a bit difficult. And in their mind, when their children were born, they had a set schedule for them and what they were going to be. I mean, not necessarily like a doctor, dentist, but, how they would be, who they would meet, what kind of grandchildren they'd have. I mean, in those days, that's how you kind of got brought up and expected life to turn out. But for your mum, she's now in a position, a place in her life where a lot of this didn't really happen in the way she mapped it out in her head. And that is confusing for her. So when there is new concepts or new emotions that are, being brought up, like sometimes you might say things to her and she does emotionally react to it, but she doesn't recognize these emotions and it's scary for her. So rather than face it, she'll just shut it down and not acknowledge it in the way that, you might have hoped. Am I explaining this well?
Yes, and this is why it's so great that you're explaining this, because, you know, as compassionate as I may have become in my adult life, you're, you know, the way you would approach this would be much greater.
Oh, John, thank you. Okay,
You're
so
welcome.
I will keep going with this, but I just wanted to just
Okay.
check in and make sure you're getting where I'm going. So
Yeah.
when I look at your mum and her energy, to me, it looks like she will go through a bigger awakening than what you're thinking she will. She has heard you, but she's just not capable of processing and moving forward with any of this stuff. She needs more time. Like if you can imagine it took you, I'll make this up now. Imagine it took you 6 months to adapt to one new concept. It will take her triple that amount of time. So you have to be patient with her. I don't mean censor what you're saying to her, but in terms of having a response, whether it is positive or negative or impartial, it will still take her longer. She may appear that she's not listening, but she is. She just needs more processing time. And she will go further in her awakening journey than you think. It will just be a lot slower. For her, when she look, sorry, go on.
I've seen images of her in the future where she's, you know, draped in silk and is speaking in front of audiences. And, you know, I don't know if this is maybe it's a past life that I'm seeing, but it's almost like I'm seeing this like ultra compassionate.
I think what's happening for you there is you're seeing a glimpse of the insight that she is going to gain. For you, it's more of a pictorial insight. It's like your psychic sense is picking up something, not necessarily that image is exactly what's going to be, but its representation is what it's going to be. It's showing you to have confidence that your mum is going to be okay. She is going to grow. She is going to be more confident. But the reality is she'll just need longer. But she does kind of get there.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah,
which,
I just
let's
keep
face it, for a lot
sending
of
the love.
parents,
You know?
lucky to get there at all.
I'm lucky to be here right now, so I'll tell you. So anyway, is there anything you would share from me as I go forward?
Yes, there is. But go on.
Okay, great. I was
Go
going to
on.
say, I'm speaking. I started speaking with Toastmasters, and I've been asked to speak in public. I started doing classes, healing modalities, and things of that nature. And I just wonder, you know, where do you see that going? Because I'm a working artist at the moment, and I love painting, but I see that kind of sliding away from, or like sort of becoming the background. Am I on the right track?
What do you actually do for the main part of your finances?
For my finances, I rely on my partner at the moment. I've been working on really just healing at the moment.
Okay, no, that's good because I was trying to look and it was being very evasive. So I was thinking maybe you do something very mysterious.
No, yeah.
That's okay.
I have a very unusually awesome partner who gets it. You know, like
Excellent.
he really gets it.
Oh, well, that's good. All right. I love what you're doing at Toastmasters. I think that's great for you. I think that's going to give you oodles of confidence and it's going to help you fine tune the talking. Because for you, you often get lost in the talking and you forget to keep going back to the bullet points. So whenever you're practicing, always think bullet points, bullet points. Not because you just say the bullet points, but it will help you refocus back because you have a time, you know, you have to stick within a time and achieve those bullet points within that time. So that will help you master that technique better because when you start to drift off a bit with the talking off topic or elaborating more than you had planned, it's part of this reason is because your brain and your heart is a little bit frightened. So it's distracting itself by keep going so that you don't have to do the rest. But it's almost like, you know, kicking yourself in the foot because you're still up there anyway, but somehow the brain and heart make it, you know, like, oh, this is better. But it's, but that will come with practice.
I totally get it.
That will come with practice, and you can totally do it. So that I love. You keep going. When I look at the artist stuff that you do, the drawing, do you paint? Or is it just
Yeah,
drawing?
I've been painting for about 12 years, and now I've recently started diversifying. So,
Diversifying meaning?
well, my painting style seems to have changed, or it's just becoming more expanded. So I've broadened my horizons with the paint, but I get this idea that I'm going to start doing more of like a cartoon type doodle drawing / writing project, and has to do with nature, has to do with.
Okay. I ask you this question because do you do stuff on the computer as well, or it's just all,
I used to when I had a computer that would function properly.
Oh, I know that feeling. Like all this technology and it's not working.
Right. Yeah. And it seems to me that I either pushed it away or it was taken away from me so that I could experience a new experience with it, because I have done graphic work in the past and been, hired to do graphic work, and I really enjoy it. However, as things sort of fell apart, all the computer stuff just keeps kind of sliding away from me more and more, and I become more organic. So I'm not really sure why.
Okay. There's a twofold reason why I'm asking that question, because I do see painting, but I also see stuff on the computer. So I was confused as to whether or not you just scan it in or you do stuff on a computer. But that makes sense for me. So when I look at the art that you're doing, to me, I'd say one of the issues you're having now in terms of being, let's say, marketable, because as wonderful as it is to paint and have wonderful creations, you do need to have an end goal for it, as not just a personal gallery in your house. It'd be great to get some financial benefit out of this, so you can have less stress, more walking around money, so to speak. The one thing that let's call it a hurdle that I see with your paintings is that they are too personal. And by too personal, I mean they mean a lot to you. Of course, your artwork needs to be personal to you, but it's almost like it's such a secret that no one gets it. Like when you're painting it, you do not consider the fact that other people that don't know you, don't know your life, are going to view it, and how are they going to feel when they see it, not just you. Because what you paint, it can be absolutely breathtaking if you get it, but you have to get it. You have to hold the hand of the viewer to show them.
Okay.
All right. Let me think of a better way to explain it for you. Imagine you were going to show this picture to someone who's got cataracts and they've only got 80% vision. So they look at your picture, they can't get it all because you've put everything in there. They need to be able to get it with a 20% vision.
Okay.
Is that a better way to
and that's
describe
the way I
it?
used to paint. That was the way I used to paint, and I've become very esoteric in some ways, and in allowing sort of a communication to happen through me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pulling the messages out of the painting as it's coming through it. And you're right, it is very personal. But what I'm trying to figure out how to do is to turn those into healings and readings for people. So it's less about selling the artwork as it is about making the artwork a part of something, I think, bigger.
Maybe you're making it too complicated in your own head.
Maybe so. What I would like to do is actually be interactive with people and have them actually input the energy and me translate the energy with the art.
But doesn't that mean that would have to be commission pieces?
Not necessarily. I'm doing it all out of love, so I don't. I'm not really looking for a financial reward. I kind of, in some ways, I've literally sworn off money because it seems to bring too many troubles and not enough enjoyment in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So the enjoyment comes through the doing the work, not through getting the money for it.
Mm.
And I'm just allowing sort of the rest of it to work.
But that's also part of your own brainwave ideology, though, isn't it? Like in the past, that has happened to you. Not necessarily this is what your present or your future will hold for you. The fact that you can acknowledge that it has given you problems before with your aunt versus finance and drama and stress, even acknowledging that to yourself and making sure that when you visualize and create that abundance, you do not have that energy anymore. And it's more like, you know what, these are going to be breathtaking pictures. I know people are going to want them because they're breathtaking. My heart and soul is in them. And you know what? If they tip me some money, great. They don't, great. You know what I mean? Like change the energy as to how you think of it. And then when you can do that, get someone else to sell the pictures for you. Don't do it yourself. Because
I would love that.
this is like, yeah, simplify the process for yourself. You just think those basic simple things, uncomplicated. Change your mindset to when you paint them, acknowledging that there will be some financial gain, but it's good and you don't care how much it is. But it won't matter because you're not going to handle that side of things. Someone else is. Don't even have to think about who someone else is at the moment. You just have to focus on, I'm going to create it, and I know that it is going to be a healing picture for someone else, but I just want to concentrate on breathtaking. So that breathtakingness will alone heal them. I don't have to think how it's going to do it. I don't have to worry about if it's the sun. I don't have to worry about if it's the stone. I just know that this whole thing is going to do that. That's it. Don't overthink it.
Wow. Okay.
All right.
I like that.
Because that's the technique that will work for you. You've got way too much stuff in your head, and it's affecting the way things come out. So you just simplify it down to that and try it like that for a few months, because I'm sure that will make a huge difference.
Okay.
And in the meantime, thank you. You look for someone else that can, even if it's, that yucky cousin you hate down the road, whoever it is, find someone else to sell it, because I can guarantee you they're going to sell it for as much as they can because they would like their commission. But it doesn't matter to you because it's whatever comes. But you don't have to deal with any of that icky, financial dealings, invoice, none of that. All you're going to do is just keep creating, and then you'll be getting some pocket money coming soon. That's all it is for you. And you will see just by doing that how the energy can change so much.
Okay.
And then, so that's one of the big things. The second thing is I really do see a lot of stuff on the computer. So if you don't have access to a computer right now, that's fine. Next time you go to someone's house, just try it out on theirs. Just play around with it, because you will find it will come to you. Whatever it is, once you put your mind to it, because you're a very powerful being. I can see your energy. Once you've got that interest peaked, you will create it somehow, and it will come. Don't worry about how it does. It just will. Now, John, can you just hold on for a sec for the ad, and we'll be back.
Okay, great. Thanks, John.
Thank you. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for listening to Adventures into Reality with myself, Kathy Ma, and Andrew Bartzis, the amazing Andrew Bartzis, who, by the way, is not here today. So all the Galactic historian questions will have to wait till next week. He's out on location getting ready for the big event that's coming up. So that's very exciting. And for those of you interested in a private session and then want to go deeper with your questions with either Andrew or myself, go ahead and call the office now at area code 360-894-0692, and they will be happy to answer any questions that you have. Again, the number for a one-on-one session with Andrew or myself is 1 for America, 360-894-0692. And also to let you all know that I finally put my website up. So you have to be kind if you go there. It's Kathy's Pearls of Wisdom, Kathy with a K. And if you're like me, do not put an E in wisdom. Oh, all those years of studying, I still didn't spell wisdom right when I first tried that out. Anyway, John, are you still there?
I am.
Good, good. So going back to this computer graphic thing, I really see that in your energy. So I want you to just try it out whenever you have access to something like that or someone with a computer program and just feel, just play with it, feel with it, because you intuitively will get excited about what it is and you will create it. You really will. You are strong enough and you are in that abundance mode of your life right now where you can create this quite easily. No need to worry about how it happens. Just trust that it is going to happen.
I'm right there with you.
Good. And also when I look at your energy, I think that, you know, in terms of your own personal energy, it's been a bit low. It seems like your, I don't know, maybe your adrenal glands or something are like you're not getting enough adrenaline. You must be feeling a bit tired. I would like you to try out something like, you know, an electrolyte drink just to boost your own energy levels back up. Because when you are feeling more energized, you are going to feel that creative juices coming much easier. And to me, it's just like you're just lacking those few little mineral things. It's not a big thing, but at the same time, you know, you wake up and you just don't have the same energy and you're like, oh.
Well, I know exactly what the issue is there, and it's called Palm Springs is 112 degrees and no exercise.
Oh, yes, those two pesky things, heat and exercise.
Yeah, you know, I know my body's telling me, and I'm just not listening. I'm being sort of, I don't know, stubborn. That's my habit of stubbornness.
Well, I think it's part of it is it's your energy is low, so you just feel blah. You know, when you if you can just get that energy level back up, you will feel a bit more motivated and a bit more energetic, which makes a world of difference. I mean, it may not, you know, make you go out and do it, pump ups and exercises, but that doesn't matter. The fact that you wake up feeling, wow, that's all you need.
Okay. I hear you.
Okay, well, thank you so much. Oh, do you have one more question?
No, actually, I really just wanted to say thank you to you and Andrew, if you listen to this. Thank you so much. You've been immensely helpful. I've listened to you almost every Monday, and I paint, and the first time I've ever had a chance to get to call you, so thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome, John. Thank you so much for calling.
You're very welcome.
Wow, what an interesting call. John was just so interesting. And, you know, a lot of the issues that he's talking about, you know, with parents and communication and feeling a bit like they're not hearing you happens for a lot of us. But sometimes not in every case, but sometimes you have to allow people to grow at their own rate, their own pace. It may be like a snail's pace, but it doesn't mean it's not registering or not happening. So sometimes you just have to look for teeny weeny little signs. The fact that they don't tell you, go away, is usually a small sign that they are listening. Okay, let's go on to our next caller, 303. Are you there, 303? Okay, maybe we've lost 303. What about 614? Caller 614?
I'm here. How are you doing?
I'm good. Are you the 614?
I am.
Excellent. What is your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Mark Cathy, and I'm calling from Savannah, Georgia.
Oh, wow. What can I do for you, Mark?
Well, first of all, it's a true pleasure and a privilege to be able to talk to you today, and I hope you're doing great in your life.
I am. Thank you so much. I feel honored to talk to you, too.
Oh, thank you. I spoke to you back in February, and it was before this move. I moved from Columbus to Savannah, and I know that I work in IT, and it's for the government, and I know that job's about to go away pretty soon, and I wanted to transfer over to healing, and I just kind of wanted to get your take on it. If you you know.
Mm. So when you say transfer over to healing, what kind of healing are you thinking about?
Well, I'm taking a craniosacral course next week, and I've learned Reiki, or been attuned to Reiki up to I guess some people call it Sai Baba, or others call it Karuna. So I've learned the Usui and the Sai Baba, and I'm getting good results. But I just mainly work on my family. But I know it's something I'm passionate about, so I was just trying to see. What it might look like to you as a future.
Well, when I look at the energy of everything around you right now, I would say love the cranial sacral, love the Reiki. I think you can definitely go far with these things. I'm a little bit concerned about the interim before you can really take off with this and you ending where you are now. So, and when I say concerned, I'm talking purely financial. One of the things I think you'll find with your current job is that they may ask you to extend. I know you don't think that's likely, but be open to that possibility, because even though you think you're done there, it couldn't hurt if they do ask you to extend, because at that point you're in a position of power. So you can pretty much ask for more stuff.
Okay, so they're talking about extending me to March. So I was wondering what was basically going to happen after that, because I'm pretty sure, which it might not. They might extend me further, but which would be great.
I like it because it gives you more financial stability while you're acquiring all these new skills and developing a clientele. Because, the ideal scenario is you move seamlessly from one thing to another without taking a dip in finances, right?
Yes, definitely. Because my wife's sending around about another child, so definitely.
Well, there you go. Yes, because kids are really not that cheap.
No, they're not.
So, all right, let me split this up into several segments. So, number one, with the healing, I know you're saying that you're mainly doing family and probably close friends. I want you to expand your repertoire of people that you touch. So even if you do it for free or you do it for a tiny fee, really extend, let's call it your client base. The reason I want you to do this not only is for the experience and the confidence building for you, it's because you need to start building a network. Whether or not these people ever ultimately become your long-term clients doesn't matter, because they'll have a lot of good stuff to say about you and they all know people that can be referrals. So I would like you to embark on that part of it already. And then going to your cranial, that you're about to embark on the training, I love it. You're going to just absolutely adore it. It is going to just change so many things for you. It not only will help you grow as a person and, of course, have your own healing, but even to your mind is going to get blown, because all these things are going to get opened up to you. And the way that they talk about stuff will actually make your mind go, what? Wait, what did they just say? And it will, I don't want to say it's going to alter the way you think, but it will help mold the new way of thinking that you're developing.
Okay.
And it'll be in supportive ways that you couldn't possibly have imagined, because you haven't been through those experiences yet. So this is something I definitely am encouraging you to do. And the minute that you can do practicing, volunteer, even if it's at old people's home, burn victim unit, well, probably not burn victim unit, but, needy people that cannot possibly afford this on their own and would find it acceptable to try, because that you can make a big difference on immediate problems like hip pain, neck problems, foot injuries. These sort of things that you can deal with immediately. Show these clients, these people, that there can be an immediate response, which is good for you and good for them. But also it helps you build up that experience using this technique. by volunteering, it makes it easy for you because you're not having to think about all the marketing of it. You're just offering your service. And for the most part, a lot of organizations or places where people gather are quite happy to do something because it's for free. They just put a disclaimer there, and that's it. But this will really, really make you understand how it is that you can affect change to people in all sorts of ways. And you haven't even delved into the emotional side of things yet. You haven't even talked about like the difficult cases yet. This is just an everyday ailments that people are, it's in what you call hindering their lives daily, that you can make a difference in.
Great. Yeah, I was planning on going to the senior centers around here and offering up my services at no charge, so I could try and get some experience. But
yes,
just trying to find the time with the kids and the wife.
I know,
but,
it's
I
never
definitely
easy,
will
right?
make time. I'll definitely make time. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, well, it's all about
I'm looking forward to
scheduling.
it.
It's about allocating of time. So when things have settled down a bit for you, in your mind, you can work out, well, you know what, I'm actually free between 4 and 6 o'clock every Thursday. So I will find a venue that suits that time slot. Like, you define your own time first and then look for something that suits you and that time, rather than you go somewhere and they dictate the time to you.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, so did I cover those questions okay, or did I?
Oh yeah, I just want to make sure
leave
that my energy looked good enough to go into that sort of field.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, you've done a lot of work with yourself. You're very open. Your mind is just like a sponge. It's just taking everything in. I like the progress that you've done. It's not too fast, so you're being able to, by osmosis, suck everything in a way into your, well, not suck, but it's going in and out of your mind, your body, your healing, your development. When you're talking, to jump topics a little bit, when you said that you'll have another child on the way, I would.
Oh, we're talking about it. There's not one yet, but.
Right. Well, I definitely see the possibility of one. In the old days, you could calculate this quite easily. But with modern technology and all these options that are now available to us, we talk about the possibility of kids and the probability, because, in your life, each person has a possibility of having so many children or not, right? So
Right.
depending on how you live your lifestyle, what techniques you may have employed, for or against pregnancy, can make a big difference in terms of what you actually end up with. So when I look at your energy, I would say there's definitely, you have the energy of another 2, should you so choose it. And
great.
to me, that means having a child is also not necessarily just your own blood, but it can be acquiring a child, or which is like adoption, or something happens in your family or your friends, and you become guardian, or there's a whole range of things. So it's not always just about you yourself having the kid, or your wife, literally, I suppose. But to me, the next pregnancy that she will encounter will be a bit more difficult. There'll be a lot more listlessness, a lot more tiredness, a lot more lower back pain. But these will all be normal, not to worry. But the pregnancy will not be the same as the other one. That's just the way it is sometimes. So not to worry, but to keep an eye out for it, because fatigue will be much more prevalent for her. So you need to make allowances for more rest for her, maybe some little foot rubs and stuff like that.
Oh, definitely. And I try and give her healing sessions each night if we both have the energy for it. To try and keep her chakras well balanced, and try and keep her healthy, because she's under a lot more stress than I am. So.
Well, when I look at her energy, I'd say that there's a lot of chaos around her. And that won't subside for a little while yet. probably by the end of the year, things will sort themselves out. So it's a little bit of a hard yakka for the moment, but just to stick with it, because things will sort themselves out by the end of the year just naturally, and it will be in her favor. She doesn't think that now, but it will.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, I know she's just trying to finish up her bachelor's degree by the end of the year. So hopefully, once that's done, the whole world opens for her.
Oh yes, studying. Oh. Under pressure, deadlines. Oh. It's never easy. It's never easy. But whatever she's involved with at the moment, I think is good. It has positive outcomes, so that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have another question, Mark?
Just to thank you for giving me that information, because it's really put my heart at ease. And another question isn't really popping up unless anything that you can see going on with me might be something to comment on. If not, I'll let you go to keep helping other people.
Well, I'd say you've got some really good news coming up, and it should be associated with financial windfall, which is always great.
Oh,
So, and it'll be this year. It's not going to be as long as you think. Like, even when I'm saying this, and I said it'll be this year, I can see you already thinking, that'll be December. But no, it won't be that long. But it'll be this year.
Good, because we could use it. I guess everybody could, but I know if I could, I would just volunteer my time to help people, as long as I could make enough to just, or even go off donations. I guess there's something I want to ask you about. It's a good thing you brought that up. I was thinking, because in the state in which I live, it seems like you have to have a license to touch, like a licensed therapist or massage therapist, to be able to employ craniosacral technology or certification, or to be able to use that modality on individuals. But I was reading, and it was saying that if you have like a minister's license or something like that, that you could just do it for donations, and that way you would kind of get around having to be licensed.
Well, I mean, technically that would probably work, but I think ultimately you would probably want to be licensed. And once you start getting into it, you will understand why, and you'll want to do it. Because if nothing else, you're very proud of what you do, and you don't want to hide behind other rationale. And it's quite simple. Whatever the process is to get a license that you are going to need, it will be simple and not that expensive. So trust in that, see what unfolds, but you'll see that when it comes to pass, it's a seamless process for you when it happens.
Okay.
Okay, well, great. Thank you so much for calling, Mark.
Thank you. I hope you have a great week, and I look forward to hearing the rest of the show and hearing your voice next week.
Thank you. Thank you. Wow. Wasn't Mark just fantastic? Always so interesting. And everyone has such different lives. They bring up all sorts of different aspects that touch so many of us. Yeah, it's great. Thank you so much, Mark, for calling. So our next caller is 310. Are you there? 310? Maybe we've lost them too. Okay, what about 561? Caller 561.
I'm here.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, what is
Kathy.
your name and where are you calling from?
Patty from South Florida. How are you, Kathy?
I'm good. How are you?
Very well, very well. We've spoken before. I did a session with you too. I don't know if you remember, but we talked about my little cafe and all that. This was a couple months ago.
Yes.
So I'm checking in.
So what for everyone out there, what are the new developments?
Well, so when we spoke, I was talking about how to expand creatively, spiritually, financially, and all of that with this endeavor that I'm doing, my little cafe here. And so I've been called to do more creative work. So I'm working on this book because I'm coming up on a 10-year anniversary of my business, which is really quite fantastic because it's it's very difficult to for a business to be successful, especially in the food business, especially mom and pop kind of businesses, and in my case, it's just mom. Just me. There's no pop. As of March, it'll be a 10-year anniversary. So I had spoken to you about possibly doing a commemorative book. The story of how this happened. The story of this cafe, and so as I've begun, things have been coming to me creatively. And I've been thinking that this is a story that's not just my story, but it's many, many stories. It's a story of so many people who have come, who have been angels in their own right, and so forth. So it's really kind of expanding into this this book that's not only about my endeavors spiritually and as an entrepreneur and so forth, but also the story of this little community of people who have come together to support this endeavor with me. So that's kind of how it's shaping up. And of course there'll be recipes and pictures and all of that sort of thing. But that's kind of how it's shaping up. So I'm kind of excited about it.
It's awesome.
Anyway.
It's awesome you're doing all this creation.
Yes. So I wanted to give you an update on that and check in with you about that. And also, there's a local women's theater group that invited me to do a little 10-minute play, and I did that. It just went up this past weekend, and I've been invited to write some more for this theater group. And while it's very exciting, and I've been thinking about it, I just didn't want to, have too many irons in the fire, so to speak. So I just anyway, I wanted to check in with you about that because I am kind of excited about expanding my creative, kind of what I'm doing creatively in that way too, and writing a one-act play for fall. And I'm also, and I do.
What were you saying you're
art.
writing? You're a little bit. The sound is a little bit murmured. So.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You were writing something for a creative group?
It's a local women's theater group, and so I did a little 10-minute play, and now they've asked me to do a one-act play that will go up in this fall, and so I'm excited about that. Though I do have the other project that I'm working on, and I don't want to have too many irons in the fire, though.
Yeah. Okay, right now your sound is excellent. So wherever you've moved to, this is good. Don't move again.
Say that again, Kathy?
I said that right now I could hear you very clearly. So whatever you change, just stay there.
Okay.
What you've done for the theater group, it is great. I think you're completely capable of doing the longer storyline for them. My question is, what is the end goal of this? In the sense of, if you are thinking I'm doing this for fun and it's like a hobby for you because you have a lot of time, then sure. If you are thinking that I want to develop this to do something else, I think at the moment you don't have the time to do it.
Yes. Okay. Well, I wanted it to be the first play that I did. A lot of the feedback from it about it was that it was deep and it got people to think in different ways spiritually. It kind of was an expansive experience for people, and it was just a short little play. So my thought about the second one was that I would do something that was also along those lines. You know, kind of introducing characters or ideas that are expansive in ways, you know, for people, and so that's all. And so those are the ideas that I've been thinking about. But again, I don't know if you would call that.
All right, Patty, can you hold on? We're coming up for a break, and we'll catch up more after the break. Okay. And in the meantime, 206, can you please mute? Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for joining us on Adventures into Reality with myself, Kathy Ma, and the amazing Andrew Bartzis. Although today he is not here, he is out in the field preparing some stuff for his event coming up in September, which is going to be very, very exciting. And for those of you who don't know, Andrew is offering a free video series called Living the Mystical Life Daily. He shows you some tools and gives you knowledge about how to have mystical experiences in your everyday life. Sign up for free at andrewbartzis.com. Just put your name and email when you get to the page, and you'll receive the first video right away. Again, just get it at andrewbartzis.com and enter your name and email to receive the Living the Mystical Life Daily series. And don't forget, you can get a private session with Andrew or myself by contacting Tanoch at galactichistorian.com. That's TENOCH at galactichistorian.com. And we'll be able to get to the bottom of your issues and help you see a better way ahead. And not to forget, I have put up my new website, kathysperilsofwisdom.com. That's Kathy with a K, Pearls of Wisdom. Wisdom does not have an E in it. I'm only saying this because I made the mistake originally. Please check it out. You can learn more about me. It's just up, so please don't be too harsh on everything if it's not all working 100% well, which it should be. And Patty, are you still there?
I am.
Great. Before we went onto the ad, you were telling us about what you were doing with the theatre group and what the ideas were that you were going to incorporate in the possible new version or in the new play that you were going to write. One of the things I'd like to ask you, maybe I didn't ask you very clearly before, was, is your goal for this like a pleasure, leisure, hobby, or is it that you wanted to branch off into doing something with this?
You know, branch off into doing something with it, like on an ongoing way, in an ongoing way. It is very pleasurable for me, but it's a little bit more than that. You know, for instance, given the recent events, you know, in Orlando, I was thinking of including that as part of the you know, a topic in the play that I was going to write, you know, with kind of in introducing kind of a different perspective in it. So with that, I think while it can be risky, it's also it could be a great opportunity to introduce kind of something with more of a healing vibration in the scene. So,
yeah, I understand what you mean.
Yeah.
All right, let me put it like this. I think, going back to one of your original comments, I think you have too many irons in the fire. So It's not that I don't like this idea and you doing this. I'm just questioning whether or not you have time, because you're going to stretch yourself thin for the other projects you're involved in and some of the expansion you were thinking about. So you would have to have extremely tight time management to have this new thing coming into your life. If you feel that you are very committed to this next play that's coming up and you want to complete it, I would say, okay, go ahead. But limit the amount of time you're going to put into it, and then don't commit to anything else in the future at this point in time. I'm not saying you can't be successful with this. I'm saying I worry about everything going on, that you're going to wear yourself thin on too many different projects.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that, Kathy, because, I can get swept up in the excitement about
of course,
something,
it's
or
very
the
exciting,
inspiration.
and yes, and to see the response, it's very exciting, and you have done a great job. But pretty much anything you touch and put your energy into can be great. The problem is, you've only got 24 hours a day, and some of that you're going to have to sleep.
Yeah.
So, what is your priorities?
Yeah.
And even if you sat down and wrote down your monthly priorities, like this month in June, I need to achieve XYZ. Next month in July, I am going to do ABC, plus just monitor XYZ. You need to be able to really realistically put down a little, let's call it a timetable for yourself.
A timetable, yep.
Right. And write down, when you put down your goals, ABC, write next to it how many hours you think you need to spend that month. Because once you start doing that, and then you go to your daily schedule and you start putting stuff in, you will see how much time you really do have or don't have.
Right.
And at that point, what to you is important.
Okay. Yeah, I actually have somebody working with me on setting up a timeline for the projects that I'm already working on. So I agree with you. It's not my strength, but I do have help in available to me to set those those timelines down.
Yeah. I mean, it's difficult, especially when things are successful. It's difficult because you don't want to give it up, right? It's like drop the success. I know it's hard to give up. But it's
I mean, when the creative, it's just when the inspiration and the creativity kind of are on a roll. It is for me, just given that I tend to just love creative projects. I can kind of get swept up in it, and then halfway down the stream, I realize, I'm a little stretched out.
No, I know, and it really is a great place to be, to have to decide what you're going to do.
Yes. Well, I have something else that, and it's not anything that I'm really concerned about. I just wanted to get your take on it. Because I've heard you talk to other women in particular in this area, and I just thought that you would be that your insights would be helpful. In our last conversation, I'm single, and I know that it's that person is down the road for me, and I know and accept that. My libido, though, has been very, and I don't know if this is good, this is the universe looking out for me, that it has been, very, very quiet. Very, very quiet. And it also could be, that time of life for me as well, though, I kind of thought I worked through that. But in looking at my energy, are there things that you can are there things that I can be doing for myself? Are there things I need to attend to in that area of my life? Even though I'm single, I just wanted to kind of get your
I know what you mean. It's like there's something different within yourself, but you really can't put your finger on it. Things like that, libido and, the sexy side of us, sometimes we go through flows. It goes up, goes down. When I look at your energy, I would say at the moment, your body is changing a little bit. I think one of the things for you is for this, let's call it this part of your life, a lot of it has to do with romance. Like some people are very physical, they're very visual, and other people are very sensory, it's all about the touch. And for you, it's all about the mind, the imagery, the romance, let's call it. And when you don't have that present, or, you know, when you need it, or when you're sort of thinking about it, it's very difficult for you to, on a physical level, get more enthused or excited about it, because it's like this, it's like you're forcing it. And for you, like for some people, you'd say, oh, you know, you can go and watch some sexy movie on TV, or read a sexy book, or this or that. But for you, it's all about the romance. So if I cut that down, it's about the courtship. And whether this is a long-term relationship or a ships in the night scenario, it is all the same for you. It's about the courtship. So in your mind, you need to rekindle that courtship energy within your emotions and your brain. So one of the easiest ways to do that would be to watch those, you know, really lovey-dovey, soppy movies on telly. That are all about romance. Yeah.
Right.
You know, because that will already change your frame of mind, and your body will react to it. And once you, I mean, I'm talking about like the quick, not lazy man's way to do it, but it's an effective way. You do that, you get that energy within yourself going. I mean, I don't mean like 24/7 watch it, but, you know, watch a movie a day if you can, and get that energy going back within yourself, and then start to daydream about it. Like, wow, you know, I remember when so-and-so did this, man, that was romantic. Wow, you know, I'm going to invite that energy back in my life, and really focus on how you felt and the excitement of the romance. Because when you can recapture that in your head and your heart, it will kickstart what you think isn't there. It's there. It's just not waking up anymore. It's gone into like a food baby coma.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just like, oh, hello, there you are. But when you get that energy flowing again, then you will start to see that your whole body is reacting to it. When your body reacts to it, it's like you open back up again, you know. And sometimes with romance and relationships and, you know, partners and, you know, sexy time, it doesn't have to be always thinking in your head, oh, it has to be forever. No, it can be whatever it is. The fact that you got to share space and time with someone in a romantic way sometimes is enough. And sometimes it doesn't even have to be physical. I mean, it can even be, excuse me, and like an online thing. But it's just to get that energy back into you, because the minute that you recognize what it is, you will start to exude it. And when you exude it, you will attract it.
Got it. Yeah, that makes perfect sense, Kathy.
Yeah, but it's easy to fall into the trap. You know, like men and women are a bit different like this. Men, you know, pretty much that doesn't turn off for most of their lives. But women are very different. You can turn it on, turn it off, and just at a drop of a dime, you can. And that makes it more difficult being a female, because turning it back on sometimes isn't so easy, because you're like, oh, you know, I don't have time for this. Off. Then you're like, wait, where's that light switch? I think it's moved.
Yeah.
Yeah. And,
No,
you know,
true.
you are not the only one in this sort of position. There are just half women out there will totally resonate with what you're saying. And it's tough. And you start to also question whether or not it's you, if there's something wrong with you. And it's not that. It's just
right. That's why I wanted to check in with you about that.
Yes. It's not you, so to speak.
Okay.
It's just one of those things that happens. And, you know, hundreds and thousands of women go through the same thing. And I'm really grateful that you've brought this up as a topic, because what we're discussing now is just going to resonate with so many women listeners, because not everyone is brave enough to talk about it. But it is something that happens. It's nothing to be worried about, nothing to be scared about. It's just a question of acknowledging it and then thinking about how I'm going to move forward with it.
Yes. Okay. That's very That's very, very helpful.
Well, good.
was there
I have another thing
anything?
I'd like to say that's
Yes,
completely
yes,
different
okay.
topic. But when I'm looking at your
Okay.
energy and talking to you, I really
Yes.
think that you have to put more effort into some of these projects that we've talked about in the past. Like, there is one that I know we've discussed that you were a little bit in the works, considering it before, but you've really a little bit dragged your heels over it, and you've been a bit despondent because your initial response to a supplier wasn't as you had hoped. I'd say, let this fall off your back like a water on a duck's back. There are many ways to skin a cat.
It was something that we had discussed before, but it didn't. I'm trying to remember what that is. Was it about the wholesaling my product?
Yeah, I think it's about we talked about the refrigeration, and I think you're at the stage where you're talking about packaging.
Yes. Yeah. I'm still, that is moving kind of, it's just moving kind of slow. I just kind of haven't, there's a lot of pieces involved, I guess I should say.
I know.
When you wholesale a product, especially food, it's like, oh my God. And I think it does feel a little overwhelming. I know that you said I had a good product, but then when I start delving into it, it's like, okay, I have to make sure I get that duck in a row and that duck in a row and that duck in a row. And so
it's a lot of planning, a lot of time management, and a lot of, so what if they say no, then do it another way. There are many ways to cut a deal.
Yeah. Exactly, and it also taps into some of the things that are less creative and more nuts and bolts.
Yeah,
and
the logistics.
And that's, I would rather, you see how I am, I'd rather fly off and do creative things, which won't really help me financially. These nuts and bolts things will be more helpful financially, but they're nuts and bolts things. They're not as much, they don't get my fire going as much as the creative stuff. So,
well, when you're doing your goal timetable, you put the hours right next to it and you allocate the hours.
Okay.
And you allocate the morning hours is better than the evening hours because you're much more productive in the morning.
I am. Yes, my mornings are very, very, they're my best time. Yeah.
So make sure it's on the timetable.
Okay. All right. Well, I really appreciate it, Kathy, very much.
Oh, you're welcome, Patty. Thank you so much for calling. It's great to talk to you again.
Likewise. Thank you.
All right. We'll catch you next time. Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Well, listeners, wasn't that another great call? And lovely for all of you that are listening regularly to see how people are developing in their projects and the challenges they come up with and the new things that happen. It is really, really great to catch up with people and see what they've been doing. So our next caller will be 908. Are you there?
Kathy, marvelous darling. This is Deanna from New Jersey. How are you?
I'm good. I'm sorry, I couldn't catch your name.
Oh, could be that I have not stage fright, but phone fright.
Okay.
You're
no
watching
need to be
well, it's like when you're watching a game show and you know the answer, but when you're on the game show, you're like,
Yeah, I know. So where are you calling from?
New Jersey.
New Jersey.
And I said, hello, Kathy, marvelous.
I heard that.
Darling.
I love it.
I would like to ask a favor of someone in the chat room to drop your webpage link.
Oh, okay.
In the chat room.
I will get someone to do that. But I will announce it again. It's Kathy's Pearls of Wisdom, Kathy with a K, Pearls of Wisdom, all one word.com. Wisdom being WISDOM. No E in it.
I wanted to hit on two topics. One about laughter, because your laughter has inspired the question, but I want to end the call with laughter. But the first is I did the seed pouch for the third time, and now they're growing outdoors. Because as per Andrew's advice, I've been dealing with a trickster, ancestral trickster who is thwarting my efforts.
Mm-hmm.
So the seeds seem to be communicating to me, leave. The energy, the magic here is too strong. It's too, I won't say malevolent, but too jealous.
Mm.
I don't know if you.
So what is what you mean is you've done the seeds, you've planted the seeds, but they're not growing to expectation because you think the energy of some type is too strong to counteract it.
Well,
is that right?
The thing is, my seeds, every effort that I've made in my entire life with Emily, it's like everything has been thwarted. So recently, now that the flowers are growing, the plants are growing, they intuitively said, why stay? Go. So when I made up my mind to go shopping for boxes, at the liquor store, they have these beautiful boxes with magnetic closure and a window. I was ready to be tossed out. So to me, there's synchronicities backing me up saying, don't worry about the money. And I say, what money? I made a handful of really capital S, capital T, capital U, capital P, capital I, capital D, stupid choices that pretty much wiped out bank accounts, and I came up with the money, and my cat, unfortunately, it's never fortunate for any animal to drink antifreeze, but the money went to put the cat down. And, so I'm like, golly, if magic is that strong here that it's not letting me succeed, it's time to
hang
go.
on. We've got the ad coming up. Can you just hold on and
we'll
continue after then? Thank you.
Okay. Likewise.
Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to Adventures into Reality with myself, Kathy Ma, and Andrew Bartzis. Although today he's not here, so the Galactic Historian will be back next week. And remember, everyone, you can get a private session with Andrew or myself by contacting Tanoch at galactichistorian.com. That is TENOCH at galactichistorian.com. And we'll be able to get to the bottom of your issues and help you see a better way ahead. And for those of you that don't know, I have just launched my new website, which is kathyspearlsofwisdom.com. That's Kathy with a K, pearlsofwisdom.com. So go by, check it out, and you can see what I'm all about. New Jersey, you still there?
I'm still here. Are you still there?
I'm still here. So basically, a lot of stuff has gone on for you, and the seeds, the flowers so far seem to be not faring as well as you'd hoped.
Oh, well, the actual seeds themselves, I wore the neck pouch for about a month, and they're planted, they're growing, I believe they're telling me, they're communicating telepathically, don't stay where you are. I mean, if family has done this to you, they will continue to keep doing this to you. I comprehend more about the ghost factor and whatnot, how someone can be all sweet and in a moment, you recoil like, whoa, what was that? So after decades of on again, off again, living here, not living here, I made up my mind about a month ago. It's like, okay, well, time to go. And so many synchronicities have been happening to back me up. The universe has my back. The universe has all of me. So I am talking about what do you see energetically wise, because I have 3 globally viable ideas and I have local ideas, and then so I don't have the funds. I have coins, like hard coins. I don't have the funds to hire a lawyer. And people say, well, go on Etsy. I'm like, I'm not talking about Etsy. I'm talking about globally viable, marketable ideas.
So what do you mean? Can you give me an example of the global marketable idea?
Something that would be applied to a vehicle. And it would just...
Oh, so like inventions, almost.
Yes, it's a product. And another would be it regarding a beverage that's consumed globally. And people said, well, just put it on the market. I'm like, no, because then the people who have the business know-how will just take my idea and say, thank you, dummy.
Thank you, Tata.
Yeah, right. Like,
I'm going to rename
it. We'll show you what we can do with your idea, and thank you for giving it to us.
Okay, I understand what you mean now. Okay. Well, when I look at your energy, I think, in many ways, yes, you have been a bit of a funk, but I do see that you have embarked on a journey. Let's call it, you're not at the light at the end of the tunnel yet, but you're certainly on your way. You're approaching the entrance of the tunnel, which is great because the movement forward is always great. When I look at your decision to move, I would say I think it would be very difficult for you to move right at the moment. I think if you want to entertain a move, then I would wait a couple of months before you seriously consider it.
It's too hostile here.
Well, hostile one thing, practicality another. I don't think it's as simple as you think it is to...
Oh, I realize.
Yeah. So on a practical level, let's say, I think it will have to be a few months from now. I don't think it will be current. When I look at the locations where I think you will go, it will be somewhere where you would consider near water.
Oh.
But it would not be in the New Jersey, New York area. Oh. It's a move. When you talk about move, I mean, you don't do things by halves, oh girl, You do that marvelous jump. And you go far. But to me, it looks like once you get really serious about actually moving and start to think about the logistics, you will then backtrack and think about, okay, if I'm going to move, and let's talk about within US, I think you will then look for some type of employment that puts you far away, because that's what you're going to need to move. I don't mean you have to stay in that employment, but to get yourself going, set up somewhere else, you do need to have something to start with. Which also jumps back to your idea or thought of doing the global marketing concepts. I think at the moment, put them on hold.
Okay.
I think some of your concepts are great, which we can talk about later. But I think at the moment, you have to focus one thing at a time. First thing, get yourself somewhere else. Find employment somewhere else and then move. And when you look for a job or a career or whatever it is that which path you decide to go down, I want you to think of it like this. Not what the content of the job is, but which place would you consider far enough away to be far enough away? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. When you say water, I mean, I don't know if you were done with what you were saying just now about far away, but when you were saying water, what type of water? Like,
well, it could be a lake, it could be a river, it could be an ocean, but there is a body of water not far from you. I'm inclined not to think ocean because usually that's a lot more water, but
right.
I won't discount the possibility because, you can still be close to an ocean and not that close, you know what I mean? But let's just say water. And go on.
I've been coming up, that image has been popping in my head as well. Well, not my head, but you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, was that intuition or is that just my wanting?
I think part of it is wanting. Part of it is what I'm going to call intuition, because your awareness of a possible move is there. Just because you can't visualize exactly what it is, it's a representation to you, you know? Like, let me just choose a random example. Let's say you decide, you know what, from where I am now, far enough away has to be super country. I can only be in a town of 20,000 people. I must see mountains. I must be able to see a cowboy. You know, whatever it is for you, that's how you have to define the type of places that you're going to pick. And from there, when you've decided, let's say, 5 places that would fit that criteria, then you have a look and see what is available in those areas that would interest you.
Okay.
Okay, so in a way, you're going to go backwards to what the way most people would make decisions over or choose to move. But then, let's face it, you're not your average gal, so you taking the sequence backwards is not surprising at all.
But the fact that I what?
You taking the process of how to choose the backwards, like going from the end bit to go to the forward, is not surprising to me that you would choose this path, as opposed to most people's would be job and then move. Oh, there it is, that location. You, on the other hand, will probably choose location first, which I think is a wise decision, because for you to get on board with wherever it is going, you have to fulfill certain criteria that you have in your head.
Huh. Okay. Because that's one of the reasons for calling, because, you know, sometimes you can't see the proverbial forest for the trees, and you need someone else's perspective on where you are and where you want to go, because I've learned much about the mystical, magical, which is what led me to Revolution Radio and Wolf Spirit Radio, et cetera, and I really want to get beyond the petty poo-poo and get back to cultivating my skills and discovering new ones, because I know I have them. I have the anecdotes to back it up.
Well, you have a wide range of skills available to you. It's a question of what do you want to home in on. But for me, at the moment, the move that you're thinking of is a bit restricting into the choices that you're going to make. So for you, this whole move is about the energy of a place, the type of place you want to live in. So you need to find what suits you first before you then think about which trade you're going to apply to that area. Because by choosing the places, you'll instinctively already know which assets or abilities you're going to use for that particular location.
Huh. Makes a great deal of sense, and I appreciate that.
Oh, you're welcome.
Beyond words. Can we move to laughter now?
Laughter is always good. Do you have another question?
Well, your laughter has inspired the question, but there's also a variety of types of laughter. There's diabolical laughter. There's nervous laughter. I was just wondering if you wanted to talk about laughter, and is it universal? Is it something galactic? Do animals laugh? You know, just go with it.
Right. I think laughter is just one of the best things in life. I love laughing. I love the energy of laughing. Most of my life, I've laughed at all sorts of things when you wouldn't think it's appropriate, yet it still just comes out. I'm a true believer in that laughter is a great healer. It also, how can I say it? It infuses our spirit, our soul, our energy with such a high vibe light, high vibe energy that you cannot help but feel good despite yourself. It's almost like if you can maintain a certain level of highness, of high vibeness with that laughter in your everyday life, you can maintain it throughout your days, week in, week out. And even when sometimes you find, I guess, not inappropriate, but what
Awkward?
is the word? Not awkward, more like, I can't think of the word right now, but let me give you an example. Say you're having an argument with someone, and you're really angry, and they're very angry. You're both ending up saying things that you never really meant to say, and then they say something truly ridiculous, where your normal reaction is you're going to scream at them, or you're just going to come out with something that you'll probably regret. If you could flip that around and just laugh, it just diffuses everything, and it shocks them so much. It doesn't mean the argument is over, but it just dispels that energy that is building up. Obviously, there are certain times where it's not appropriate to laugh, like, in times of great tragedy, and when people require a different emotion from you. So I don't mean laugh at everything, but if in general you can take that energy and make your own energy much higher with that laughing energy, you'll find that as you go through life, things don't stress you the same. You don't have the same kind of dramas that you might have. I'm not saying there is no drama, but your reaction to it sets up what's going to happen. When you have laughter in your life, everything is easier. Everything is more fun, and the change that you can also affect in people is quite amazing, because sometimes you're talking to people and they're just so sad, or they're just so angry, and they're telling you something that's happened. You don't even have to hear the whole story. If you can somehow infuse laughter into them, they will suddenly not take everything to heart as much, and they will have the ability to step back and see what they're saying, see what they're thinking, see how they're feeling, reanalyze it very quickly, and then continue with it. But you've instantly changed the energy for that person. You've brightened their day just a little bit. And, obviously these are the very deep reasons behind laughter. Once you do laugh a lot, it just comes naturally.
True. I'm sometimes the comedian of this environment, wherever it is. So I just wanted to know your perspective on it. And I wanted to talk about the diabolical side, but I bet there's another call saying, please stop talking and let me get through.
No, no.
I mean,
we're going to go with
you know.
this. We're going to go with this. Ask away.
What's that?
I said we can continue with this stream. Tell me, what is it that you're asking about?
Well, I realize that laughter is such a high energy, but you hear stories about evil people or evil entities giving off a diabolical laughter. So laughter isn't always lighthearted.
No, that is true. That is true. I mean, I guess we've all seen the creepy movies with the evil guy laughing. But I think the sound of that is completely different. I mean, you don't...
Right.
Even if you did not have the ability to hear, the vibe of that movement is completely different, and it would make you feel uncomfortable, if not a little bit creeped out. And just the energy itself is enough. Like sometimes, you'll walk past, like maybe you're walking the street and you can hear people laughing. And sometimes it's nervous laughter, which without even hearing any of the words, you already know someone's in a bit of distress, because that kind of sound in their voice, is not joyous laughter. It's a call of despair, or not despair, of nervousness / dismay kind of laughter. So I guess the sound of everything, the actual frequency of the laughter makes a big difference. Each person also does laugh very differently.
Exactly.
Just purely, it's the same as talking. I mean, we all sound differently. We're all saying the same words, using the same, our own windpipe, our tongue, our mouth. But the voice box itself is different. The way we talk is different. Our accents are different. The way we breathe is also different. So every laughter is unique to a person, the same as words are. A lot of it. Sorry, go on.
Much like Andrew says, or maybe he's heard it somewhere, but authentic signature frequency. So I suppose laughter, depending on the cause of it, is a tell as to what's going on. So
yes, most certainly. It's certainly a tell, and it's what is the word? It's a lead-in. It's a lead-in to your emotions. It defines where you're at that particular time, and that frequency of that sound that you're making really puts out an energy that I guess other people can pick up on as being, it's going to perk me up, it's going to take me down, it's going to make me aware of it, it's going to make me cautious, it's going to, the intonation will tell you everything. People are very, very perceptive to the subtle things that the voice inflicts out. They may not be aware of it, but their body reacts to it nonetheless. And the more that you can put out a positive, joyous vibe or intonation in your voice, the more positive and, I guess, lightening kind of experience other people will experience from hearing that voice.
So I thank you very much. I'm going to have to figure out how I'm going to come up with the money to pay for this phone bill so that when I get handed the phone bill and the finger points to the call and time of day and the cost, I can, produce the funds for it and laugh and say, I got it.
When you bring up this issue, I look at your energy, and to me, it looks like you could actually go out right now and you could pick up 3 part-time jobs if you wanted to. It's a question of choice. They may not be your most desirable things that you're seeking for, but it would help you alleviate the financial situation. And to me,
even though I have situations that might bar me from,
you have to think broader. Don't think of the traditional things that you have done. Think about your skill set and what can you do. It doesn't have to be reinventing the wheel or rocket science. It can be something very simple.
I realize it's just something I don't want to say over the air because it's kind of like I don't know if I have an outstanding situation, and by becoming employed and giving all the facts, they might say, excuse me, come with us. You owe this amount still, and no, you're not doing this, you're doing this.
A little box just for you over here.
Yeah. So it's kind of like darned if I do and darned if I don't. But maybe the energy that you're reading is like, maybe that situation doesn't exist. Maybe you're just making up something that you think exists.
I think you have to think outside the box at the moment.
Okay.
Whatever it is that you're thinking that you can do, it's not that. Have a look around you and see something that you could do that you haven't done before, but you have the skill set for it.
Because pretty much I do a lot of crocheting and artwork because my body needs a lot of healing. Mm-hmm. So think outside the box. Okay.
So for example, I'm just going to make it up. So let's say you do a lot of crocheting, and that's all you've done all your life. Just for example, then I'd say, okay, think outside the box. You want to do healing, so you don't want to do too much movement. Do telemarketing. Tons of jobs out there that do that. You know what I mean? It's like, don't think of the same things you have done. Think about what you could do, what skill set you have, and also you've got certain restrictions. So if you cut out all the things that you can't do, what's left?
Mm-hmm.
Think outside the box. Try something new.
But within my means.
That is like, for example, if you don't want to go out, you're worried, then do something via phone. You know what I mean?
I do.
Think outside the box. You have to keep saying that to yourself, because when you're looking for your new location, it's the same thing. What am I going to find what place is far enough for me to consider far enough? How many people can there be in that population that then it becomes too many? You have to adapt to the idea that the way you think is a bit different to others sometimes. So you have to embrace it and think more outside the box. How will I achieve it?
I'm nodding my head, I'm smiling, and my brain is enjoying the new marble rolling around.
Yeah. Sometimes you just have to look at it a different way. Your situation is the same, but you've just been viewing it at a different angle. Whereas where I'm just showing you a different way, like you might be looking at it from sitting down, whereas I'm up floating in the clouds looking down at you. So we're looking at the same situation, but with completely different perspectives.
That's what I needed. I love you.
Thank you. And well, actually, I also am seeing some energy around you that you must have someone close to you that you consider like a sister, but is not a sister. I think she might be a little bit older than you. I want you to spend a little bit more time with her over the next coming months, because there's going to be a lot of stuff going on for her, but she doesn't want to talk about it. It's possible she thinks it's too much for you or any person. She doesn't want to burden someone, but she's going to need someone to listen, a shoulder to cry on, some emotional support, even if you don't have any answers. But just being there for her would be great, because she's normally a very independent woman, so she would rarely ask for help, and you probably wouldn't even notice it until now. Now that you have an awareness, you probably will notice it.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah, and it's going to be a very, what can I say? It's like a rewarding experience for you to have that little bit role reversal with her, because I think in the past she's never really lent on anyone. So for you to actually, I'm not going to say be the wise one, but be the rock of support, the ear, the shoulder, it's going to really help your dynamic in the friendship. But thank you so much for calling. That's the music coming. Thank you, everyone, for tuning into the show, Adventures into Reality, with myself, Kathy Ma, and the amazing Andrew Bartzis,